Hello and welcome. Today we're watching a match from LysyPOL. This match is in his tier 5 Japanese Destroyer the Minekaze. And this is on the map New Dawn, and he's aiming for that St. Louis right now. Prediction line is visible, and fire torpedoes. Just make sure or rather, he's trying to not hit the island, because that's gonna be annoying as his concealment range isn't the best, at least not as good as it used to be. Hopefully those torpedoes hit their target. And it seems that there are more enemies coming in towards this direction, which is good for him, because he's a destroyer, and New York's and Wyoming's are good targets. Wow. How do you take 2 torpedoes from a destroyer in a St. Louis? It's so... wow. And he died too. That's rather unfortunate, I think. Next threat are those torpedo bombers that are flying directly towards the Minekaze, even though they're probably not spotting him. There's little reason in firing those torpedoes at this point, in my opinion, because they are 10 kilometers away. That's a bit too far. A bit closer would be fine, and he is detected by the planes at this point, but I think it's going to be only temporary. At this point it's okay to fire, because the Wyoming might get in range, I think. The threat is that the planes might detect the torpedoes. Well, the way he fired means that he expects the battleship to turn to the right side, and now he's leaving and detected by this New York. Which is okay, because the New York fired and he'll be out of range in a moment. But then he can fire again. Let's go a bit faster, because nothing interesting is happening other than that Tenryu firing. Okay, the New York fired once and caused a fire and destroyed 2 other modules. It's okay though. This Omaha is the next target. Hopefully the Omaha doesn't realize the torpedoes are incoming. But I think the Minekaze does need to get a bit further away, because if the Omaha comes around the corner at this moment, she might be able to detect her. Let's go a bit faster again. Okay, and Omaha. Are you avoiding the torpedoes? I think he made a mistake. Wow.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
He didn't. He took the torpedoes head on and just died. How unfortunate. Oh well. Well, those 2 battleships are pretty good targets, but so are the carriers, because at this point there isn't much to stay in between LysyPOL and the carriers, and he does want to go for the carriers. Although on the way he can try to hit the New York, I guess. Especially because the New York is traveling in the correct direction to be able to do so. And he can fire torpedoes from this point. He fired them into the middle, a bit forward and a bit behind, so that those torpedoes will be able to overlap each other properly.
Engine boost deactivated.
Wow. I feel kind of bad for this New York, although in some sense he's a bit lucky. And the lucky sense is that if he had gone full speed ahead, the way LysyPOL tried, he almost took all of those torpedoes, which is rather scary at this tier. Torpedo bombers incoming, but then again it's not dangerous at the moment because he's next to 2 islands, so it's not very frightening. And there are no visible ships around. so there isn't much to be afraid of. Although, if we're honest, then this mode is standard battle, which means that, well, if you don't actually kill every single ship on the enemy team, you need to cap. And this causes lots of draws. Can't fire at the battleship on the left side because of the distance. So let's go a bit faster again. And torpedo bombers incoming. 5 kilometers. I think these might actually go for the destroyer at this point because, well, he's getting a bit too close to the carriers. At least if I were the carrier player, I would be scared. Because it doesn't appear that there's anything else to protect the carriers other than themselves. Important thing is not to get too close to an island in a bad position, because that way he can't dodge all of them. Torpedoes, that is. Well, these torpedoes aren't that scary, because even if he takes one straight ahead, they aren't gonna hit. I mean, they aren't gonna kill him. The only way that he would die would be if he got hit in the middle by a torpedo, but, you know, chances of that happening are rather low. So it seems that the carriers are... Wow! You were right here, Tsuiho. You are so dead. Like, you can't even imagine how dead you are. Wow, Tsuiho. That Wyoming is a good target as well, although a bit too far. Oh, and the Langley was also spotted. Wow, they are so unfortunate. But the Langley is actually out of range of both the guns and the torpedoes. Although if the Langley doesn't move, then I guess it should be fine. Oh, she is pointed actually at Minekaze. Well, never mind, that Langley is dead. Can't even do anything to the torpedoes if they were fired right at this moment. Well, at this point he could... two things would be rather important. One is to fire torpedoes in a way so that the Langley doesn't avoid them. And the other one is to get behind the island so the battleship can't kill him. But the Langley seems to be going backwards, which is a bit odd. But I guess he expects the Minekaze to fire torpedoes ahead, so he can't really go ahead. Those torpedo bombers could hit though. I think they have reloaded. But I mean, the Minekaze still has guns, so... And he can freely fire because the battleship... Because there's an island between him and the battleship. And these torpedoes are nothing. Unimportant. And guns. $7 might actually be cutting it a bit close in terms of time. Might be a good idea to try to cap after this Langley and the battleship. The Wyoming is the next target. Although it would be nice to fire at the Wyoming in terms of, with torpedoes, they will be spotted absolutely, and I don't see how they would hit the Wyoming then. And that Langley is done for. So now it's 3 battleships and 1 cruiser, but there's only 7 minutes left. And that Wyoming seems to know the torpedoes are coming, at least he seemed to act that way. I would be rather surprised if he actually got hit by the torpedoes. Then again, there's no point in saving them. It's a good idea to fire. Well, he's far enough that Wyoming can't spot him, so Just fire torpedoes and wait, essentially. And those missed. These ones will probably also miss. But these torpedoes might actually hit because the torpedo bombers aren't a threat anymore. Although it could be that the Wyoming moves in a way which makes the Minekaze unable to hit the torpedoes, like it happened right now, but I mean, it's certainly possible for them, as they might not be spotted, like last time.
Screen set.
He's hiding in smoke because the Wyoming is getting too close at this point, and, well, going out is essentially testing your luck. I would have done the same thing at this point. Just wait for the Wyoming to get closer and then try to hit the volley from the side. The thing with the Minekaze is that the torpedo reload rate is so fast that you can just fire like this. But I think it might be time to try to do more than one volley, more than one torpedo launcher at once. The thing is that if you go close in a destroyer, you have to keep an arrow profile for one thing, and the other thing is that you have to hit. Okay, maybe not at these tiers, but at higher tiers you definitely have to, because if you don't, you are so screwed. Secondaries will absolutely destroy you. Wow, Wyoming, you turned... Wow, I really expected the Wyoming to actually turn the other way.
Problem solved, sir.
Like, I completely expected him to turn the other way, because I figured the Wyoming would expect those torpedoes incoming. Anyways, time to go faster again, because there isn't much time left. I think that he should go straight for the cap. Like, he has to, in my opinion, otherwise I don't see how they plan on winning. Come on, LysyPOL, you're not going for the cap, why not? Dude, you don't have enough time. Okay, I guess they can expect to kill... If the carrier kills the Tenryu, then it would be fine, because I think that the Minekaze is gonna get the New York. I mean, it's... Oh yeah, Tenryu died, and so did the battleship. Excellent! So, this was quite the game. I mean, in a Minekaze, 5400 experience, but 18 torpedo hits, 6 ships killed in just the Minekaze alone. Confederate and high caliber, and 3 devastating strikes. I don't think I've ever got 3 devastating strikes in one game. Wow. Wow. 197,000 damage in a tier 5 ship. Wow. This is actually on the levels of mind-blowing completely. And even in a Shimakaze, this is a really good game. And this ship is at the half point. Wow. And 2700 base experience, which is... Okay, let's put it this way. You know how ships get stronger, or rather, you get more experience the higher tier the enemy ships are and your ship is when you fight? Yes? So, getting 2700 at tier 10 is a good result. Getting 2700 at tier 5 is ridiculous. This is like ludicrous level even, maybe. Wow. Thank you, LysyPOL, for sending in this video, or rather, replay. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe, and thanks for watching.